Hey yo, what is going on guys? Cash and Clean here, and for today's video I just wanted to talk about a fast way to farm the Trovian mana as well as the Crystallized mana. If you haven't seen my last video, I recommend checking that out because I talked about how to actually farm those. But this video is going to talk about how to farm them efficiently and faster. Now a couple of things I want to point out. When I made that video, I recorded the video when this update came out, when they released the patch for this, where you can actually loot collect your mana maximizers for the mana fragments over here. Now in the video I mentioned that it's probably not going to be the best way when it actually is. This is going to be a pretty good method and I'll talk about that in a second. I also pinned that message in the comments below, and there's also someone in the comments section that said that I brushed off the whole mana maximizer thing, and I kind of did. I don't remember the exact person, but you know who you are. He was talking about a method that I actually started doing after I made that video. So the moment I made the video, I went out and tried a couple different methods of how to get mana quicker. Then once I found out what to do, the comment happened, and then I realized what I said in my video wasn't true just for the mana maximizer thing. So I want to talk about that a little bit here. So straight off the bat, every day on reset, you can actually get 10 of these. So I highly recommend getting this. This is for your wild Trovian mana. You're gonna need a lot of this, so I highly recommend getting this every single day whenever you can. There's also the mana maximizers. You don't get these every day, but I do recommend getting them. These are going to reset back on Monday, but these reset daily, and you get that all from this guy over here. And a couple of things to note: when you go to this bench, you might not have these if you don't have this bench over here leveled up, but if you do have it leveled up, then you will see these. Now these were the fragments that I was talking about. There's also a tome for this, and there's a store pack where you can get those tomes. So you have one that gives you 10,000 of the fragments, and the fragments are like a 1-to-1 ratio when you can convert it to wild mana. And depending on how many you have, like if I had 10,000, I could just use this twice. If you have less than 10,000, then you can just probably craft them here. Doesn't really matter, it's just gonna be, it's all the same. But you also have this tome down over here, the Mega Mana Hunter buff, and when you use that tome and you activate it, it's once a week, but that buff only lasts for the day. So after that day is over, then you'll have to wait another week to get this buff active again. So make sure you're using that whenever you need to. Like when you have like a full day ahead of you to farm, don't just use it and then not play Trove at all, because that's kind of a waste. Now I've heard people saying do U10 ships with this is really helpful. I haven't really tried doing that, but you do have to be the one doing the cleaning up. So if you do the AFK farm, make sure you're at like one of the crystals or one of the boss rooms. I don't know how much it'll help you, but it is an option if you're gonna just be AFK. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is going to be these things over here. Now I know the video is about mana, this kind of goes into that. You will need 5,000 of each elemental. You'll need 500 from here, and then I'm not going to include this because you're going to need a whole bunch of this, and then you'll need an extra 1,000 from this. You can buy this from the market. This is tradable. All these say that they're tradable as well, but I haven't seen any on the market, and I'm not too sure if you actually can get these from the market. But I know that you can with this, so you can save yourself a little bit of time and resources. But basically, let me get into the methods. So shout out to the person in the comments section for my last video, but this is what I'm going to recommend to you guys to actually farm your Trovian mana. So let's just start with Cosmic, for example. You'll need 5,000 for this ally, you'll need 500 from this, and you'll need 1,000 from this. So you can try to plan ahead and farm 6,500 of them. And while you're doing that, you can get Trovian mana on the side. And on top of that, you can get U11 gem boxes while you're farming all of that. And if you can't farm in U11, you can go a little bit lower if you need to. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go to U11. Now, the mod maker actually put out the mod for Trove tools, and I'm pretty sure Steam as well. But I've talked about this in my previous videos. But if you're on console, I do apologize, like I mentioned always. This mod is pretty handy because you can see a little waypoint of what you're supposed to fight in this area. And once you fight them, they can sometimes turn into this, which is an elemental thing for a different biome. That one specifically was for fire. So as we see over here, that's the Ember, and we get 19 of them. So you want those big guys to spawn because they do give you a little bit of a bonus, as well as you get 2 mana maximizers. Sometimes that number is different, but the mana maximizers are what we're looking for. So while you're farming for whatever you need to, we got Trovian mana from that, we got the Ember, and we got the mana maximizers. And basically the idea is you want to keep fighting all of those guys because you'll get the thing for the Cosmic. So if we look over here, I got 7 of them. I don't even have any buffs on. I have some. This is for the jungle biome. This doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, the number isn't a whole lot, but you're gonna need these anyway. So I highly recommend just farming these because you'll get mana maximizers anyway. And I don't know, I didn't really farm that much, but I have 64. And just the other day, I was farming for about 10 minutes and I got about 70 of them. I don't really farm too fast. Sometimes I just take it really slow. I just watch YouTube on the side. I get distracted. I'm sure you guys can do a lot better of a job, but you can get that number to rise up higher and higher. Just make sure that you actually have a decent amount for your limit. Wild Trophy and mana has a limit for whatever reason, so just consume as many as you need to. I'm at 72,000. These you can get unlimited amounts, so I don't know why these don't have a cap, but I'm at 72k for this one. You don't have to go that high up, I just went that high up. And as you're farming those things, you might encounter some world bosses, and with those world bosses you also get the mana maximizers, which is good, and on top of that you get U11 gem boxes, so that's going to be helpful for your power rank as well. So I highly recommend just going to each elemental world. You don't have to fight these guys, but yeah, I just sometimes do. Anyway, there's one over there. You'll find them pretty commonly. It's not super hard to find. Unless you're on console, you might struggle a little bit. But if I go to the loot collector over here, I have 64 of these. I can loot collect that, and I can take it back to this bench, and I can craft whatever I need to here. So I can craft that 3 times, get 15,000 of the wild mana, and that's going to be huge. So that's going to help out this bench a lot, because you're going to need a lot of mana for this anyway, and you're going to need it for the recipes as well. If you don't know how to get these, I talk about that in my recipe video. I'm pretty sure it was like 2 videos ago, so I highly recommend checking that out if you don't know how to get these. Just know that these are going to be on rotation, so if you miss one of these for whatever reason, if you're a little bit late to the party, you know, I'm late to the party for one of these. I'm not sure which one I'm missing, but if you're watching from the future, then I probably have all of this done by now. But just know that they're going to be on rotation. There's a decent amount of biomes. There's some buffs around here. Just make sure you're watching out for every single week which one changes, and just get the one that you need. And as of right now, that's going to be the fastest way to farm mana. So try to get enough of these, and as you do that, you'll get a bunch of Trovian mana for finishing up this bench. And once you have all of these done, that's perfect. Then you can just go back and farm mana. I talked about how to farm mana, so if you don't know how to do that, you can check out that video. It's my previous one. And you might actually just finish up the bench depending on how long this takes you. But yeah, the main thing is just going to be looting those mana maximizers. Like I said, when I made that mana video for how to farm them, that update just dropped for the patch. That patch just dropped where you can actually loot collect them. I didn't really imagine it to be that helpful, but when I finished up this bench and when I went to farm these allies, I noticed that I was getting a lot of the mana maximizers, and I was able to loot them for the fragments, and I can turn them into the wild mana. So I would say it's good to work backwards, just get enough resources for these, and you can get the mana on the side to finish up the bench and get whatever you need from that. So hopefully all of that makes sense. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments down below. If you want to see anything else Trove related, drop it down in the comments as well. I'll be sure to reply to every single one of you guys. And on that note, thank you all so much for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing, and I will talk to you all later.